Thanks for your clicking and welcome to my channel, AHA Korean Lessons with Moon Sam. Hi, I am Moon Sam. Moon is my last name and Sam means a teacher in Korean informally. I have been teaching Korean language and its culture for almost 15 years, both in USA and here in Korea after I got a master's degree in USA. My students were mostly young adults, like high school or college graduates with different learning background and levels from beginnings, intermediate, and advanced. And I also worked as a certified OPI tester for about 8 years. OPI means the oral proficiency interview. It's a kind of speaking test. And I tested a lot of students and people and gave them official speaking grade. So I have professional knowledge and experience in teaching and testing communication skills, and I can help you improve your speaking capability. I also was involved in curriculum development where I developed several courses about Korean culture and area study like economy and geography. Since I have taught Korean language for a long time in multiple educational settings, I know very well about difficulties and problems that learners had while learning Korean. At the same time, I know the solution for those matters. This is why I opened this channel, AHA Korean Lessons with Moon Sam. And I'm going to show you the most effective and easiest ways of learning Korean. If you are learning Korean or if you are interested in learning Korean, this is the right place for you to make a good start. I think my role is to guide you to the right direction so that you may not be lost in the middle. I saw many people lost in the middle, not knowing where to go, and just going back and forth without any progress. So I don't want you to repeat that kind of procedure. So I'll just let you go the straight way to the destination. And my another role is to make your learning more comfortable and easy and effective so that you can keep going without being discouraged or frustrated or exhausted. So I made my lessons is based on the step-by-step to reduce the confusion or stress. And I am sure you will be able to read and say the Korean words within a few hours of my lessons. Yeah, that's true. And you will find yourself speaking another language in a few hours. Okay, let me explain briefly about basic pronunciation course, which consists of 4 lessons. Okay, 1 to 4. And it will take about less than 3 hours. 3 hours, not 3 days, 3 weeks, just 3 hours. And if you finish the course, you can read and say about 99% of Korean syllable and words. You go to Korean restaurant and you can read food menu and just road signs, any signs actually. And even you can read the song lyrics of K-pops, not to mention short sentences. Okay? It's magic. Right. Just 4 lessons, less than 3 hours, and then 99% return is a big deal, isn't it? For you to be a successful learner, I want you to set your own goal because I believe each of you have good reasons to study Korean. Maybe some people want to visit Korea and enjoy the Korean culture, like some food and dramas, music, entertainment, and other people want to get a job in Korean companies, and others want to study in Korean university. Whatever reason you have, that's okay. So if you have your own purpose of learning, then you may want to make a specific study plan and try to achieve your goal. Maintaining higher level of motivation and interest is really important in learning a foreign language. And as you know, the language and culture go together. They are kinds of different side of coin. But no culture is better than another. It's only a matter of differences. So if you open your mind and try to accept those differences, then your brain will open wide and you can digest anything you learned. And by understanding another culture, also you can appreciate your own culture more deeply and more meaningfully. This is another benefit coming from the learning Korean foreign language, actually, which will expand your life horizons and values, many things. Before I move on to another topic, there is something very special you should know about Korean language. What is the most special thing about Korean language? Another word, Hangul. Hangul. That is, Korean language was invented by a group of scholars led by the great King Sejong in 15th century. In other words, a king and scholar, they put together and they produced or created a new language system about 600 years ago. So Korean is not a naturally grown language like Egyptians or Chinese, which have more than 5,000 years of history. Korean language is very young and modern, advanced, and it is also said the Korean is very scientific language. What does it mean? The language is scientific. It means the rules and the grammars and structures is very simple and clear, which means it's easy to follow and to understand. That's true. You will see and find this in a few hours of my lesson. This is the great King Sejong. He himself initiated and finalized the project. Why? The great King Sejong created the Hangul. The reason is that he wanted to help people express their opinion and thought more effectively and easily. That's the reason. At the time, Chinese character with its meaning and other type of letter were used together, and it was really difficult for common people to learn those language. And I think more than 95% of people were illiterate. So they were not able to read and write, which make them suffer from their daily matters. When they are in trouble, they didn't know how to solve the problems by reading and writing. So the great King Sejong, I think, felt sympathetic about this, and then he decided to make a new language for them. Have you ever heard of any king who invented the language for their own people? No. I don't know how long it took him from the start to the end. Maybe 5 or 10 years maximum. But the result is great, really great. I think he was brave, wise, smart, warm-hearted, and artistic, the man who loved his country and people. If you come to Korea, then you can see his name in many places, the public or private. Sejong City is a big city, and Sejong Cultural Center, and Sejong Hotel, Sejong University, or Sejong Restaurant, you name it. He is one of the greatest men in our history. If I'm a historian, I would like to divide the Korean history into two parts. The one is before Hangul, and the other after Hangul. I think Korea started to be independent after Hangul was made in every area. So Korea came to have their own identity thanks to its own language. Having its own language for people means a lot. he did a great job. Okay, let me move on to the three big news for the learners about Korean, alphabet, and pronunciation. The first one, only one type of letter in Korean. In English, how many types? There are 4 different types of letters, right? The capital, small letters, cursive, capital and small. This capital, this cursive, this is another headache and very challenging part for foreigners to master and to write. Sometimes I have difficulties actually in reading written word in cursive. The doctor's prescription normally is written in cursive letters, then it is really difficult for me to figure it out. So this is another area. It takes a long time actually for foreigners to get used to this writing. But in Korean, there's no such a thing. There's only one type of letter. Consonant and vowel, that's it. 14 consonant and 10 basic vowels. So total 24 letters. And second good news, each letter has only one sound. In English, the spelling and sound doesn't match. For example, letter A could be pronounced in multiple ways, like here. How many ways? 7 ways. Like a book around is A. And apple, ant, this is A. Father, car, A. Any, age, case, A. How about call and toll? This one, like this, right? Yeah. Climate, private, E. See? Do you think there are clear rules for the sounding system? No. So it is really challenging part for foreigners also to kind of produce the correct sound. So sometimes many people in Korea, actually they give up in the middle of learning pronunciation. So for example, father, if you read this one is age, case is like aji, or kaje, like that. It can cause big trouble. So it's a misunderstanding occurred and nobody can understand what you say. That's huge problems actually for foreigners. It takes also a long time, but in Korean, there is no such a thing. One letter has only one sound. That's it. So you don't have to worry about making some pronunciation mistake as long as you know the exact sound of each letter. Okay, that's it. Yeah, no problem. So speaking and reading, they can go together. There's no separate area between the two. So this can reduce the great amount of time, okay, for the learners. The third one, no word stress. So equal word stress, amount of equal strength. This is also another challenging part for foreigners, really challenging. So let me tell you my personal story, which gave me a valuable lesson about the importance of the word stress in English and also the difference between Korean and English. When I was in USA about for 2 years to study in graduate school, and I was supposed to meet my classmate in his neighborhood at the restaurant, which was about 30 miles away from my residence. At the time, there was no GPS system, so I just type in the address of the restaurant on Google and printed the driving directions and just started for the restaurant. But somehow I couldn't find it. I knew I was around the area, but yeah, I couldn't find the location. So I asked somebody for direction. I said, "Excuse me, where is McDonald's?" And then his response was kind of surprising, like this. What did you say? Oh, I was so embarrassed actually. So I tried one more time, more slowly this time. Where is McDonald's? And then he murmured for a few seconds. And then with a smile, oh, you mean McDonald? Yeah, over there, he said. So at that moment, I realized actually clearly the difference between the English and Korean and the importance of word stress in English. I just made a mistake. I didn't pay attention to the word stress actually. I put wrong stress. But how could I know at the time which one is correct one among four options like McDonald and McDonald and McDonald and lastly McDonald. I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't pay attention to that because I thought anybody could understand what I said because the restaurant was so famous. But I was wrong anyway. I put a wrong stress. At first, he couldn't understand what I said. Anyway, if you come to Korea as a foreigner, same thing can happen. So if you ask somebody, where is McDonald's, like that? Okay, so in Korean, McDonald 어디에요? 어디에요 is where is. So McDonald 어디에요? If you say like that, then the most Korean people will be confused. McDonald? McDonald? Do you know McDonald? I don't know. Sorry. But if you say McDonald, oh, over there. Is a vowel in Korean, so it's a syllable. So it has equal stress. So McDonald, that's right pronunciation. But in English, McDonald, T is not a vowel, it's a consonant, so there is no stress in D. So McDonald is right. But Korean way, McDonald, that's the correct way of pronunciation. If you know this difference, when you use English word, then think about this, okay? Equal strength. It's very useful because Korean people know English very well. Okay, so if you put equal stress, then they will understand what you're saying. So far, I talked about the three big news. The first one, only one type of letters. The second one letter has only one sound. And third one, there's no stress. In other words, equal amount of strength. And let me talk about the romanization, which is not necessary in Korean, but in Chinese, it is really important. The pinyin is very important. Pinyin means a romanization of Chinese character. So they use pinyin to express the sound of character, and without this, they are not able to the sound. So when they write on the keyboard, they use pinyin. So first, they type in the English alphabet, and then the pinyin will be converted into the Chinese characters, and then you pick up the proper one among several options. That's the way they use pinyin. But in Korean, there is no such a thing because we have our own alphabet, the vowels and consonant. So if you know the sound and the shape of each vowel and consonant, then you can read any syllable, okay, without pinyin. And when you type in the Korean syllable, that's easy. Consonant and the vowels. You just simply type in the letters. That's it. So it is not effective and practical because it is kind of reading English, not Korean. But in the beginning stage, when you try to learn about pronunciation of each letter, then English alphabet will be useful to guide you or to teach you some similar sound. That's okay. But in sentence level, if you use the romanization method, it doesn't work most of the time. Okay, nobody understands what you're saying. I will show you some examples later. So you don't have to try to learn the Korean words or sentences based on this romanization method, because you can master how to read and say Korean words within a few hours, thanks to the great King Sejong. Believe me, you can do that. So in the next lessons, I will introduce the basic 10 vowels. I'm sure you will be able to learn those 10 basic vowels in 30 minutes. 30 minutes. You'll figure out everything. The sound and the shapes and the syllable. So today's lesson is over. So if you liked my lesson, just subscribe and give me your thumbs up. And thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.